we celebrate Victory, our MC? She's done amazing today. So, you see this place is plenty money. The fact that you're getting it for free, please put your hands together for us. You will pay. Thank you so much. Once again, I want to celebrate this panel. You may not know, some of you are new to Ibadan, some of you don't go out, some of you are just holed up in your house, so you would not really, you may not understand. But for those of us who were here earlier, and we had a very nice profile video for each speaker, and I'm going to send it to you personally. Forgive our screens. The devil came, but he has lost. And you would have heard their profiles. These are not people that we can pay. That was, I made sure that when I was sending the emails, I said, it's a free event. I kept saying it's free, so that they would not say pay. Because if they say pay, I don't think we can afford it. No, not yet. We can't afford it. Because they come as the best you can get in their industries. Please put your hands together once again for my she's becoming a friend. We're friends. She will see me in her office very soon. And you will see us on social media. That's how we prove our friendship these days. Please put your hands together for Mrs. Ronkekiwa Onofua. And Dr. Atiba. How many of you listened to his talk? How many of you are here? If you are not, go back online. We'll also try to make the audios available. And please welcome Pastor Fred. He must collect the pastor because he's a pastor. Put your hands together for a man of God. But you see, besides being a pastor, and one thing I love about Pastor Fred is every time I have encountered him, you see that pastors have what it takes. You know, there's that argument that it's all about power. There's more to it. Have the power and also be able to stand where kings are. And when you stand, you can present yourself just like Dr. Atiba said. Please put your hands together for them. So our job here is simple and very straightforward. Like I said at the beginning, if you check the CV, if we tell 10 people, bring your CVs, and you check skills, the first thing you'll see there is excellent communication skills. You know, everybody is writing it, but the person sitting in front of you does not even know what excellent communication is, yet it's on their CV. And you ask them, is this true? They say, yes, that's my CV. Can you please just tell us? I want to ask Pastor Fred, because Pastor Fred, you're a pastor. I know you talk to people a lot. And from your own standpoint, outside and inside the church, what is this excellent communication skills we talk about? I'm also going to ask Dr. Atiba because it's HR, but I want to hear from you first.
Thank you very much. Please permit me, before I speak, to acknowledge two very important people here again. They have been acknowledged before, but they're very important in my life. One, I have my mother here, Evangelist Mrs. Lillian Bademosi. And I have my very dear auntie, the first lady of this church, the Dare to Dream Christian Center, Pastor Ronke Adeoti.
My own mother.
Your own mother, my auntie. Okay, well, I don't have a new definition for effective communication, other than what both of them have said. Ronnie G is my very good friend of many years. She's been to our church. And then Dr. Triple A, my very good friend and brother. Make it simple. When you say something and then the person you're talking to understands what you're saying, that is, there is a code or there is an encoding and there is a decoding. That's effective communication. You can be verbose. You can put all dictions together, all kind of words, and you can have many of those dictions or vocabularies. But if the person you're talking to doesn't understand what you're saying, then you haven't said anything. And you have not communicated at all. You have just maybe made an impression, because people like to, in this climb, in this part of the world, you just want people to know that you know something. And at the end of the day, you leave your people more confused than they were before they met you. So that's the way I'm just going to leave it.
Thank you. Straight to the point. You see, that's it. Simplicity. Okay, Dr. Triple A, do you have something to add to that? Or he has said all?
All right, so I'm going to do exactly what I'm trying to. It's working now. Oh, thank you. All right, so I'm going to do exactly what I always teach. Could you rephrase what you said?
So.
All right, so effective communication. from an HR perspective. That's what you're trying to ask, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, so it's interesting that recently I've had to one-on-one tell candidates off. Some of them would reach out, we'll place an ad out there, we're trying to recruit for a company. We know who we're trying to get. We know who we're looking for. We already have all the criteria. And then they will reach out. Some of them will not even greet. No salutation, nothing. Because the fact that WhatsApp gives you direct access does not mean you should abuse it. You give honor to whom honor is due, respect to whom respect is due. Sometimes I give my direct line. And you see how some of them will just talk. And I'm thinking, so if this was my staff, this is the same way you would actually talk to them. And then they will just talk, hello. Some of them will not. They won't greet you. Say nothing. Just, this is my CV, go through. And I'm like, really? And you want a job. You want to work under somebody. And if you are giving us this attitude as a recruitment agency, what kind of attitude will you give to your boss? So when it comes to effective communication, when it comes to even job-wise, it's important that we understand that despite the fact, and this is where I want to go, that you are chatting with somebody does not mean that the rules of communication cease to exist when you're chatting. You must put them into play. Be respectable. You don't know who is at the other end. Because most of us are using business WhatsApp. So you don't even know who you're chatting with. That's how some people get to chat with top CEOs like Mike Adenuga sometimes, and they don't know. Because it's a business WhatsApp. So these are things that I just want to make. We're just starting, so we'll come back later. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, now I want you to share your experience. We're going to start with Ms. Ronke. Tell us your experience, because you gave us a bit of a backstory of how you started with this communication thing and what you did even in your workplace. Can you tell us how being an effective communicator has helped you rise in the workplace? Everyone's going to give us the experience so we can hear it from different perspectives.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll start from when I moved to Ibadan, because I just moved back from the UK. So of course I just got back girl with heavy accent. And I remember when I started on radio, everybody was like, Ibadan, you will never be accepted here. You can't have an accent here, you'll never be accepted, etc. And that's why I love when Mommy said something about you've got to sort of, what's the word? For your audience, you've got to not change who you are. Because the thing about me, I'm very big on authenticity. It's very important for me to be me. Before I got married, it was very important for me, and that's why I married man and married, so that I would not be, I need to be able to be myself. I can evolve, and that's why a lot of people don't realize. So they think asking you to sort of change a bit for your audience means, changing who you are. You can still be authentic, yet still evolve. And I think that's what I did. And when people ask, you've been in the industry for almost 15 years, how have you been able to do it? Because the media is a place where you can be easily forgotten. There are newbies coming in every day. And so for me, what I did was, this accent is very heavy. Without changing who I am, there's a way, because I don't want my audience to feel lost. You know what I'm saying? So I was on air and people were saying, you're talking too fast. Because radio is also very different from television. If you're watching TV and someone's really fast, you can still sort of read their lips. And because I'm here, you can sort of tell, what I'm saying. On radio, I cannot talk this way. It's because you can see me. So on radio, I'm much slower. And so if I'm going to say hello and welcome to Vintage 93.7 F. So it was important for me to evolve as opposed to changing myself. So what I would say, what really helped me was being able to still stay authentic, yet still evolve to suit my market. So I'm in Ibadan, I'm not in Lagos. If I'm in Lagos, I can bring my American accent. There are sort of accents in Lagos these days. So for Ibadan, I didn't necessarily have to now start saying, hey, you're now on radio. Do you understand? So, because some people do that, just because you're in Ibadan, you think you shouldn't speak proper English. You can still, and obviously I'm an example that Ibadan can embrace you, even when you speak proper English. So that for me was the important thing. Evolve without losing my authenticity. And I think that's what really helped me to sort of climb up in the industry in Ibadan.
Thank you. Please put your hands together for her. Pastor Fred, we know that you're one excellent master of ceremonies. Like I said, if you've had any kind of ceremony and Pastor Fred has not anchored it, I don't know what you're doing.
We can't afford him.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't come cheap either. Pastor Fred, tell us, how has this helped you in your career?
All right, thank you very much. Very interesting topic. Somebody said I'm very expensive, and I think we should check who is more expensive between both of us. We've shared a stage before. The number one thing for me, and this is a personal philosophy, you don't have a second chance to make a first impression.
Bam.
You don't have it. And Mommy also was saying that in her speech earlier. So before I get up to speak, I have done my research. I have, in fact, premeditated the opening remark. The opening words, I don't go there to the lectern and I'm just trying to figure out what to say. Whether it's a valedictory service or a birthday reception or a funeral reception, it will amaze you. Because you don't know who is in the audience. You don't know who is listening. You don't know who is saying, oh, okay, this guy is good for the next event at the UN. So for me, number one, effective communication has helped me to connect with people. And when I say connect, I mean to connect to their heart. And like Mommy said earlier, you may be speaking, but are you able to connect with the heart of the people? And that's why I said you don't sacrifice clarity for verbosity. You simply want to say that you're hungry, and you're saying, well, because you want to impress people. Ladies and gentlemen, right now I'm feeling a vacuum in my gastrointestinal cavity, which has resulted in a gargantuan appetite for food. My friend, you're not hungry yet. You simply want to say, I'm hungry. So, effective communication, amongst other things, has helped me to connect with people, and I mean connect to their heart. And if you're able to warm your way into the heart of your people, then there are so many benefits that come with that. I remember a call came in, and it was for a funeral reception. And the lady called from the UK. And I just said, she said, good morning. And I said, oh, good morning, ma'am. And she didn't let me see anything again. She said, oh my God, I've been so worried about who is going to MC my mom's funeral reception. Oh my God, I've not said more than good morning, ma'am. And that ma'am just did it for what, ma'am? It's just a funny way of saying madam. You know, and I just did it. Okay, so you know what? These are the details. And okay, so how much are you got? And you know, I mean, you're on my side, so I can now bargain well. You know, the daughter of a very influential man in our society. I mean, you said I should give anecdotes? In our society, we were going to celebrate their dad's 91st or 92nd birthday just a couple of months ago. And she called from London. And they said, we're going to have a conference call. They had interviewed several people from different stations and all of that. And I'm on my own, you know, I'm a freelancer. And it was just 5 minutes of conversation. And she said, guess what? You have the job. You just let us have your account details. You don't have a second chance to make a first impression. Effective communication has helped me to connect. And number two, that has done for me, I'll share just 4 things very quickly. Next to that is that you're able to now have their warm acceptance and approval. Mommy here is one of my biggest clients in the world. By the special, it's the special grace of God. And I know we have potential MCs also in the house. You will only MC Mommy's event if I'm not in the country. And you know what Mommy does? She has an event in August. She calls me in January. Pastor Fred, so August the 15th, I said, okay, Mom, we'll book it. So if I'm planning to go on vacation, we have to do something around it. And I must let you know that if you really want to work with her and really enjoy her and everything, that excellence cannot be compromised. So when you have such people in your clientele, you don't have a choice but to keep improving on yourself. And I'm someone who is very open to correction. And once and again, not every time, but once and again, I'll go back to her and say, Mom, can I get a feedback on what we did? It could be as simple as an inter-house sports competition. But hey, I'm particular about my delivery because I want to do better the next time. I want to be a better version of myself. You know, so number 3, after their warm acceptance and approval, then you begin to enjoy referral. And most of the jobs I do by the special grace of God. If you go to my Instagram, I think I have a Twitter account. I think so. I am not a social media person. I tell you, people say, oh, can you send us your IG handle? Well, if you go there, that place is broke. And then I'm hardly ever there. I'm thinking of my next sermon I'm going to preach. I'm thinking of the next outreach in church. I'm thinking of so many things. And you know, to be the husband of one woman is a full-time job. Praise God, amen. You know, so, but most of my jobs come through referral. In fact, in the very early days, through her, Auntie Ronke Adeoti here. I remember it was a mom's retirement party in Ilorin. And she took me along, and then I did a good job, and Mommy was so impressed. She asked me to kneel down, and she prayed for me from her heart. She said, you will go to the nations. And when she was saying that prayer, I don't know if I had enough faith to receive the heavyweight blessings. But I can tell you, I've told her time and time again, all the pronouncements she made that day, I've seen them come to reality by the grace of God. I've anchored events in the United Kingdom. I've anchored in the United States. I remember when the first call came to go to the US. And I was telling the couple, okay, so you're getting married. Is it Jogo Center or Koladaisi? And the guy said, hello, sir, did you hear what I said? I said, yeah, I heard you. You and Rennie are getting married. And you want me to anchor? Yes, we don't just want you to anchor. You're also going to be part of the officiating ministers. And we're having it right here in the US. I said, no, the network is bad in my office. I had to move from where I was sitting to another. He said, Pastor Fred, I mean, you're coming here to the US. I said, my passport has expired. I wasn't even prepared. I'd applied before then to United Kingdom Embassy. They would deny me. I'd applied to Germany. They wouldn't want to see my face. But God began to open those international doors. Referral. People somebody has an event and somebody mentions my name and then that's it. To the glory of God. I have so many testimonies in that area. And the last I would say that effective communication has done for me, how it has helped me to rise in what I do, is that this might not look positive, but it is positive if you think about it. You have your target audience. Not everybody would really like your style, like what you do, and the way you do what you do. So that helps you to narrow down your client base, really. So it puts you in a class. So there are people who cannot stand grammatical blunders. They cannot stand bad pronunciation. I've had people say genuine. That thing is really genuine. And I'm thinking, genuine? Genuine is genuine. What's genuine? Okay. But beyond all of that, there are people who are particular about your content. They can't stand swear words. They can't stand curses. In the bit of trying to be funny and humorous, there are people who will curse at you, or defame, so to speak, holy things and the name of the Lord. By the grace of God, such people, I am not attractive to them, and I'm not attracted to them. But for people who want clean content, something Christian, I've even worked with Muslims. Interestingly, there used to be the head of service in Oyo State a couple of years ago. The man, I can't remember his portfolio, but big Muslim man. He just heard me speak at an event and he said, that's the person I want. And the Muslim MCs gathered and went to his office at the secretariat. He wasn't head of service, he was chief of staff to the immediate past governor. And the man said no. They said, that man is a Christian. We even heard he's a pastor. Why do you want such a man to anchor the wedding reception of your daughter when we have other faithfuls? The man said, I saw quality the first time I saw him. I heard quality, and that's the person I want. But interestingly, on the day of the event, something happened. The event now happened to be on the same day my pastor's daughter was getting married. And so with all the money offered, I declined. And then I went to honor my pastor. And mommy was at my pastor's daughter's wedding. And God was opening a bigger door for me. It was like a loss, but it wasn't a loss in any way. I've gained a whole lot from that. So I said that to say that when you're effective in your communication and you're intentional about your content, you will not attract everybody. And you don't need everybody, really. You just need a few people that God places your way, people that God brings into your life. And I pray for everyone, really. I'm a pastor, so forgive me for praying for you, that God will give you the gift of men.
Amen.
And that your men will not be few.
Amen.
I can go on and on. There are events and things that have happened also in our lives that the people that are there for you are those clients who have become family. The people you get on the phone and say, Mommy, this is what is going on right now. I shared something with her not too long ago. Mommy as an example. And after she encouraged me, then she prayed for me. I felt so light. I was so heavy when I was going to her place. I didn't even know how she was going to listen to my story and how she was going to accept the story that I got myself involved in so and so. It wasn't something illegal, but I got my fingers burnt. And by the time she counseled me, I said, oh, glory be to God. I confessed to her. I said, Mommy, I didn't know how you were going to take this. You see, this is one of the blessings that come when you develop yourself. Hone your skill, H-O-N-E, develop it, hone it, improve, and then don't forget the grace of God. That's very important. That grace factor is very important. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. So, should I be telling you to clap? At this point, that was heavy. And I could hear the competence, the character, and of course have the charisma to package it all together. Thank you so much. Who has gotten something from that? Honestly, Pastor Fred, we're so glad we had you. This was not a mistake. So, Dr. Triple A, tell us, how has effective communication helped you? I mean, when we saw your profile, I remember when I forwarded your profile to a member of my team and said, voice this profile. They came back and said, that profile is long. So it was so loaded. Tell us how you got, and I know that you couldn't have gotten here without having effective communication skills. How has that helped you? Just give us a few examples.
All right, first off, once again, I'm so grateful. Thank you for this opportunity. First thing I want to say is that many people don't believe that I grew up as a very shy person. It's something that people still tell me that you're lying, you're selling us a lie and all that. I grew up being able to communicate through writing. That's my strength. Anybody who follows me will tell you, I have some people here, they will tell you, I write a lot. Now, over time, I discovered that the more I read, the more I wrote, then it helped me to speak. The more I spoke, the more visibility I had. In fact, one of the things that I get to hear every once in a while is people tell me, how do you think? How do you get all these things? The truth of the matter is, I'll be real with you. I read a lot. I read. I'm not bragging, not saying, and I was saying the other time, I go for a lot of courses every year. Sometime 2 years ago, I took 48 courses in a year. Yes. So I read, I study. I don't even put those ones out, because already the profile is long. So I don't put it. And just this year alone, I'm taking again like 3 to 5. So, but I don't put them anymore because even me myself, I'm getting, So I'm looking for how to shorten everything. But what am I saying is that the major powering factor for my communication success is that I study. I study. That's why, if you're going to say something or you're going to pass across something, if you don't understand what it is you're about to pass across, you will fail in conveying whatever it is that you're saying. You must master it. That's why I'm a strong proponent for mastery. Whatever it is you want to do in life, make sure you're a master. That's why, even till now, every once in a while I edit. People still send me their stuff. They, what, can you edit it for us? And for 12 years, over 12 years in the public sector, 13 years, I was an administrator in the federal government service. And we write letters. And you will see how a single letter can destroy somebody's career. One letter. Initially when I started my career, I remember I wrote a letter that brought the whole of all the branches of the federal government parastatal to Ibadan. One letter. Everybody dropped what they were doing. They came rushing to Ibadan headquarters. I was like, that was when I knew that, so letters can be this powerful. And it's writing, it's powerful communication. We got to be very careful. And that's one of the reasons why when people are writing their resumes or their CVs, please be careful. You don't know who is reading it. The same thing with your profile. The same thing with what you write on Facebook. Somebody reached out to me last year, invited me, said, I've followed you for 17 years on social media. He works with I've forgotten the name of the newspaper. It's federal newspaper. Pastor of the Redeemed Church in Lagos. He said, I've followed you for 17 years. He said, I've been following you. He said, this year, I just believe that you are coming. So they brought me. I was there with you. Where they lodged me, what they gave me, everything, I was dazed. It was not about, it was the treatment for me. I mean, I'd never seen him one-on-one, but he had followed me for 17 years. Your communication goes beyond speaking. It also goes to your writing. Your content on your Facebook. I am more of a Facebook person. Why? Because I write a lot. Forgive me. I'm not really an Instagram person. So whether it's Instagram, whether it's LinkedIn, whatever it is, be intentional about what you're putting out, what you write. And like Pastor Fred said, some people are very touchy when it comes to, once they find a typo on your, I have a friend in Canada. Oh God. For years. Immediately there's a typo on my content. He's in Canada. He will call. He will call me. I read your stuff. He said there's a typo on this thing. He said go and change it quickly. Go and. I'm like, seriously. So every time I see his call or his message, I know I blew up something. I just know. So, that's part of it also. Surround yourself with people like you. But make sure that your content that's the thing. For me, my writing has given me more visibility. Interestingly, more than my speaking. It's interesting that it's just the recent 5 years that people started hearing me speak. Prior to that, over 20-something years, I have been writing, just posting, and all those things. So you don't know when you will blow. But make sure that you're intentional about what you write. That's what I want to say.
Thank you so much. So yes, communication is not just in the speaking, writing, listening. That's what we call effective communication, listening, writing. Can you still pass across that message? Thank you so much, Dr. Triple A. Now I'm going to ask Ms. Ronke, in one sentence, what would be your recommendation? So we have someone who's here and saying, so where do I go from here? I may not be very strong on my communication skills or with my communication skills. What do I do? What would you recommend?
One sentence.
Try.
Get a mentor. I think that would be my first recommendation. Get a mentor. Because I think, get a mentor for one sentence.
Get a mentor. Now, let me add to that sentence. Many people mistaken role models for mentors. Role models are people you look at, you watch them. Please, if you're here and you say, oh, Ms. Ronke is my mentor, she's not your mentor, she doesn't know you. She's not. So get someone whom you can get very close to. And I spoke at a conference, I moderated a panel like this, and this topic about getting a mentor came up. And we realized that one thing people do is they walk up to someone and say, I want you to be my mentor. Eh? Why? How? For what? It's not possible. You're looking at years of work and all of that investment, and you're telling them, just give me. Nobody does that. So the best way, I would add, buy into a mentor. You don't just get, you buy. If they're selling a course, buy it. If they're doing something, be there. Provide some sort of value to them. That's the best way to get mentors. That's how I've gotten all my mentors. Provide value. And when it's time, you can cash it out. When they look at you and they say, this person seems like someone I want close. Not just because you're getting, you're also giving to them. So get a mentor. I agree. Pastor Fred, your recommendation.
Okay, so I would say personal development. It's very key that we invest in ourselves. Very important. Buy books, buy materials. Largely, I think I've done that for myself over the years. You can get materials from Dr. Wanda Vassallo, public speaking, and quite a number of other authors. There's a material also that I got years ago. It's called The Verbal Advantage. Just invest in yourself. It's very important. Self-development. No university will teach you that or hand that over to you. You might even go to the very best of the universities in the world. If you don't make time to develop yourself very consciously and very intentionally, then it's going to be a waste of time. One will just be wishing and wishing, oh, I wish I could speak like this person. I wish I could be as famous as this person. But hey, you have to do the needful, a whole lot of sacrifice. Your time, your talent, your resources. And there are mentors that you probably don't have direct access to, but then get their materials. Invest. Sometimes you have to travel, go for conferences. I remember years ago, I think it was 2015, I had to really trust God to go to the US to attend the conference organized by Bishop T.D. Jakes. I mean, I've always loved him, listened to him and all of that. And I think it was just $350. I didn't have jack. I just prayed to God. And God provided money to register for the conference, money to get my ticket, to get a hotel and all of that. And God made it happen. And I was listening to world-class speakers. John C. Maxwell, whose books I'd read over and over. I was seeing him live. Samuel Rodriguez, Stephen Furtick, Pastor Matthew Ashimolo, Paula White, all of those people under one roof. But then it cost some fortune. All right? So if somebody now says that you're expensive, then they need to invest, okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you. I was going to say that last line when we were done, but since you hit it. So when people charge you, this is what they're charging for. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Dr. Triple A, that was more than one sentence anyways, but Dr. Triple A, your one sentence.
try to pick up one. Okay, so let me say this, that one of the things that helped me a lot in life is networking. Networking is key. We can talk about network. People don't do it. I want to say one-on-one that networking is about caring for people. You know, we go and approach networking from a wrong perspective. We think, you know, so let me build a network of strong people so that I can use them. No. You build a strong network of people that you can be useful to. It is when you are useful that they become your help in the time of need. Dr. Abad will always say to us years ago, Dr. Abafemi would say that before you need funds, raise friends. You don't need funds and start looking for people. You first make sure that you are friends with people. Give value to them and do all those things. I think, personally, I genuinely care about people. I believe in family. I think it will help you, you know, in building your life, as you know, even communicating. When you have that empathy, that heart for people, you will genuinely know what to say per time, you know. And when people lose people, and that's happening a lot these days, you will be there for them. You'll be there for them. I'm not sure whether that flows, but maybe it helps. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Please, can you put your hands together for our speakers? How many of you have learned? Okay, so Pastor Fred wants to add something.
Sorry, please forgive me. I forgot this. Because, you know, it's very easy when we speak like this at an event. It's like, oh, you're up there, you're already doing it, you have arrived. Mm-mm. They say, show me your glory, and you will intimidate me. But tell me your story, and then you will motivate and then inspire me. Personally, I've not always had it good. I've had what I describe as learning curves, and I still get them once and again. You might be at a point now in your career where things are really not perfect or things are not okay. Don't give up. Don't give up. Take the bricks that they throw at you and use that to build something. Mommy was talking about building bridges. Build a bridge and climb out of that spot. I remember an event where I was feeling very cool. I was flowing, and I kept saying the word impeccable, pronouncing it as impeccable. I kept saying impeccable. I knew the pronunciation, but for some reason, I think impeccable just, you know, appealed to me for some reason. The wrong pronunciation. You know, sometimes, does it happen?
I will tell my own after yours.
Oh, okay, great.
So that, yeah.
So a lady in the audience just beckoned on me, and I walked up to her, and she said, I like your presentation, but that word is impeccable, not impeccable. Oh my God, I felt so deflated. But I liked the fact that I got a constructive criticism. All right? So for me, I learned from that. Look, it's a learning curve. I remember also at an event, I was anchoring for Nyojo, and I was saying, entrepreneur. And a man walked up to me. You know, sometimes I would say entrepreneur, and some of the time I would just forget myself, entrepreneur. So the man walked up to me and said, look, I fell in love with your presentation, your diction, your voice, your intonation, your everything. However, the word is entrepreneur. Oh. You could imagine how I felt. Was that okay? Thank you. I didn't try to explain it. Yeah, no. You've been boxed in a corner. All right? Take it up from there as a challenge, and then get better the next time you come out. I hope I've helped somebody.
Can I say mine? Because Pastor Fred was private, right? They corrected him privately. I was on air. I remember I was like, yes. I was on air, and I used to pronounce the word glutton as gluton. I said, oh, the person is a gluton, and somebody called him on my show and said, so with all this your phone, apparently you don't even know don't know that it's actually glutton, not gluton. Oh my goodness. You can imagine how I felt on my show. And you know, I like that we're doing this, because just to let you know that we haven't always been there. Right. And that's where you get better. That's how I say, when you make your mistakes, you can be corrected, as opposed to a closed mouth, you know. So that person corrected me. But thankfully, I had my Voltrons who called in after. In fact, the whole show now ended up not being about what I was talking about, but about was you calling and now correct her on air? Can't you send a text? What is wrong with people? And he now became caller after caller, you know, reprimanding that person who had called to publicly, you know, but thankfully, I learned, didn't I? Yeah. I learned. It was public, but hey, I'm still here. I know
so don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah, I want to add this. So somebody walked up to me recently and said, you're a celeb, right? And we can't, no, please. We are not in the, let me say that the people on this stage will understand. Yes, people will say that because you're an influencer, you've gotten to a level in life, you are a celeb. But to us, Pastor Fred, I believe, we're not celebs. We're just people. You know, I have several names. They call me several names. Some people call me Reverend. Some people call me Nihi. Some people call me Doctor. Some people call me whatever. My wife even has another name she calls me. But one thing is for sure. We know who we are. We're simple. Please don't feel intimidated. Don't feel like I can't approach this person to talk. And that's one of the things. And that's why I feel that this generation, will probably have an issue. They feel like, no, do you understand? Exactly. You understand? Please, feel free to walk up to people and talk. But one more thing though, me, I don't really mind. If you insult me, don't mind. I don't say, I'll take it and walk away. But some people will not. So please respectfully approach people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Emphasis on respectfully. Please put your hands together for our panelists one more time. It's been a pleasure.